Radio telescopes worldwide detected something that changed everything. We thought we knew about 3I Atlas's mission. It wasn't just passing through our solar system anymore. It was broadcasting coordinates, invitation protocols, and detailed planetary specifications into deep space using energy signatures that dwarf our most powerful transmitters. 3I/Atlas is calling for backup, and they're responding. What I'm about to reveal represents the most catastrophic escalation in human history, because we're not just dealing with one cosmic visitor anymore. We're about to become the destination for intelligences we cannot imagine, summoned by an entity that has decided Earth is ready for permanent cosmic occupation. In my 40 years of theoretical physics, I never imagined I would document the moment when Earth transitions from a single alien visitation to becoming a cosmic destination point for multiple extraterrestrial civilizations. The transmission protocols I've analyzed suggest that 3I/Atlas was never a visitor. It was an advanced scout preparing Earth for what appears to be the largest coordinated arrival of non-human intelligence in cosmic history. Deep space monitoring stations have detected response signals from at least 17 different locations throughout our galaxy. Mathematical progressions, geometric conformations, and energy signatures that indicate 3I/Atlas's invitation has been accepted. Have you ever wondered what it would look like if multiple advanced civilizations decided to converge on a single planet simultaneously? Because that convergence is scheduled to begin in 73 days. The calling began with systematic broadcasts that use our own planetary infrastructure as a massive amplification system. Every satellite, every radio tower, every communication array on Earth has been converted into components of a transmission network that operates beyond human engineering specifications. But the messages aren't random signals. They're detailed invitations containing precise specifications about Earth's current status, resource availability, and what 3I/Atlas describes as optimization potential. 3 types of transmissions are being broadcast simultaneously. Planetary resource inventories, listing everything from mineral deposits to atmospheric composition. Biological surveys describing human population distribution, genetic diversity, and what appears to be management compliance ratings. And most disturbing, technological infrastructure reports detailing the successful replacement of human systems with cosmic management protocols. The invitations include something that proves 3I/Atlas's confidence in the outcome. Arrival coordination schedules, specific dates, orbital approach vectors, and landing zone assignments for visitors whose capabilities we can only imagine. We're not just being contacted anymore, we're being prepared for occupation by intelligences that 3I/Atlas has convinced to view Earth as their new operational base. But here's what terrifies me most about the calling process: the response rate. 17 confirmed acceptances in less than 6 hours. Either our galaxy is densely populated with civilizations waiting for suitable planets, or Earth represents something uniquely valuable that cosmic intelligence has been seeking. Let me walk you through exactly what happened this morning, because the precision of these events suggests coordination beyond anything we've witnessed before. At 3:47 a.m. Universal Time, the Arecibo Observatory's successor facility in Puerto Rico detected the first pulse. Within milliseconds, the Very Large Array in New Mexico confirmed it. Then Jodrell Bank in England. Then FAST in China. Every major radio telescope on Earth registered the same signal simultaneously. This wasn't a natural phenomenon. The signal exhibited characteristics that violate everything we know about electromagnetic radiation. It maintained perfect coherence across multiple frequencies. It showed no degradation despite atmospheric interference. And most impossibly, it appeared to originate from 3I/Atlas, while simultaneously manifesting at every point in Earth's magnetosphere. The signal lasted exactly 72 seconds, the same duration as the famous WOW signal from 1977. But unlike that mysterious transmission which never repeated, this one has been cycling every 6 hours with clockwork precision. Dr. Sarah Chen at the Beijing Observatory was the first to decode the mathematical structure embedded in the transmission. What she found has left the global scientific community in a state of controlled panic. The signal contains 3 distinct layers of information, each more disturbing than the last. The first layer is a detailed inventory of Earth's resources, not just surface resources that could be observed from space, but deep geological deposits that we've only recently discovered ourselves. Diamond pipes in Siberia that mining companies keep classified. Rare earth deposits in the ocean floor that naval surveys haven't made public. Uranium concentrations that appear in no civilian database. How does 3I/Atlas know about resources that aren't in any public record? Resources that require deep drilling or classified military intelligence to even know exist. The second layer contains biological data about human populations, not just population numbers or geographic distribution, but genetic markers, disease susceptibilities, and something the transmission labels as consciousness development indices. Each major population center is assigned a numerical value that appears to correlate with what 3I/Atlas considers evolutionary potential. London scores 7.3, Tokyo rates 8.1, New York comes in at 6.9. Rural populations consistently score lower, typically between 2 and 4. These aren't random numbers. They follow a mathematical progression that suggests systematic evaluation criteria we don't understand. But it's the third layer that truly changes everything, because the third layer isn't information about Earth, it's instructions for Earth. Detailed technical specifications for constructing something the transmission calls arrival infrastructure. The blueprints are impossibly advanced. They describe materials that don't exist in our periodic table. They reference construction techniques that violate conservation of energy. They assume technological capabilities we won't achieve for centuries, if ever. And yet, buried in the complexity, there are elements we can understand. Geometric patterns that match the mysterious formations appearing in deserts worldwide. Electromagnetic field configurations that explain the anomalous readings from the companion objects, chemical formulas that correspond to the atmospheric changes we've detected but couldn't explain. 3I/Atlas isn't just observing Earth, it's transforming it, and now it's calling others to witness and participate in that transformation. The scope of the calling extends far beyond simple colonization. Analysis of the transmission content suggests that Earth is being prepared to serve as a regional headquarters for cosmic operations spanning multiple star systems. The invitations describe infrastructure projects that will transform our planet into what they call a galactic coordination hub, orbital platforms capable of managing interstellar traffic, surface facilities designed to accommodate beings whose physical requirements differ dramatically from human needs. But the most staggering aspect is the timeline. The first arrivals are scheduled for January 19th. 2026. Major infrastructure construction begins February 15th. Full operational status is projected for July 4th, 2026. a date that appears to have been chosen specifically for its symbolic significance to human independence. Think about that date for a moment. July 4th, Independence Day in America, the day humanity celebrates freedom from tyranny, and that's the date chosen for Earth to achieve full operational status under cosmic management. Either this is the cruelest of ironies, or it's a deliberate message about the end of human autonomy. The calling includes detailed population management protocols for humans during the transition period. We're not being evacuated or eliminated. We're being prepared for our role as a managed workforce supporting cosmic operations that we're not sophisticated enough to understand. But perhaps most disturbing is the allocation system described in the transmissions. Different regions of Earth are being assigned to different arriving civilizations based on their operational requirements and management preferences. North America has been designated for beings described as atmospheric processors who require high oxygen concentrations and temperate climates. Europe is allocated to consciousness researchers interested in human cultural and intellectual development. Asia is marked for biological optimizers who specialize in genetic modification and enhancement. We're not just becoming a single alien colony. We're being divided among multiple cosmic authorities who will each manage their assigned human populations according to their own species methodology. The energy requirements for the calling process demonstrate capabilities that make our understanding of physics look like primitive superstition. 3. I/Atlas is simultaneously broadcasting detailed transmissions to 17 different star systems, some located hundreds of light years away, using real-time communication that ignores everything we thought we knew about the speed of light limitations. But the physics behind the calling involves something even more disturbing: dimensional manipulation that allows instantaneous information transfer across galactic distances. Let me explain what this means in practical terms. According to Einstein's theory of relativity, nothing can travel faster than light. A signal sent to a star system 100 light-years away should take 100 years to arrive. A response would take another 100 years to return. That's 2 centuries for a simple exchange. 3. I/Atlas sent signals this morning at 3:47 a.m. By 9:47 a.m., 17 civilizations had responded. 6 hours, not 6 centuries, 6 hours. The transmission protocols suggest that advanced civilizations don't communicate through space at all. They communicate through dimensional frameworks that exist independent of normal space-time constraints. Every response signal arrives instantaneously, regardless of the distances involved. This suggests that the beings 3 I/Atlas is calling don't just possess faster-than-light travel. They operate from dimensional perspectives where distance itself is an irrelevant limitation. We're dealing with intelligence that treats galactic communication like local phone calls and views interstellar travel as casually as we view interstate highway transportation. But the most unsettling implication is what this reveals about cosmic civilization. If 17 different species can respond to 3 I/Atlas's invitation within hours, it suggests that our galaxy contains a vast network of coordinated intelligences who are constantly monitoring for opportunities like Earth. I need to share what it's like to realize that your entire planet has become the subject of what amounts to a cosmic real estate transaction. Reading through the transmission protocols feels like discovering that Earth has been listed for sale on a galactic marketplace, and multiple buyers are competing for different aspects of our world. The clinical precision with which human populations are discussed in these communications is devastating. We're described like livestock being allocated among different farm operations. The North American population shows strong technological adaptation, but requires significant consciousness modification. That's how one transmission describes 300 million people. Our hopes, dreams, achievements and struggles reduced to a single clinical assessment. European populations demonstrate useful creative potential but excessive individualism that must be suppressed. 400 million lives summarized in 12 words. Asian populations display excellent collective coordination suitable for large-scale industrial projects. 3 billion human beings evaluated like machinery. My granddaughter asked me yesterday why there were so many bright lights moving across the sky at night. When I looked up, I realized she was seeing orbital adjustments being made by objects that weren't there a week ago. How do you explain to a child that the stars are moving because alien civilizations are positioning themselves for arrival on her world? The calling has generated physical evidence that proves the imminent arrival of multiple non-human civilizations. Satellite imagery shows construction activities beginning on the dark side of the moon. Geometric structures that follow architectural principles no human engineering curriculum ever described. The Chinese Chang'e 7 lunar mission, which wasn't supposed to launch until 2026, was hastily repurposed and launched 3 days ago. The official story is that it's conducting geological surveys. The truth is that it's investigating structures that appeared overnight on the lunar surface. The images it's sending back are classified, but I've seen them. Geometric patterns carved into the regolith with surgical precision, foundations for structures that dwarf any human construction, energy signatures that suggest power generation beyond our comprehension. Deep space telescopes have detected objects the size of small cities moving toward our solar system from at least 12 different directions. Not meteors or natural phenomena, but constructed vessels following trajectories that will bring them to Earth within the timeline specified in 3 I/Atlas's transmissions. The James Webb Space Telescope, which should be studying distant galaxies, has been quietly redirected to track these incoming objects. What it's seeing challenges our understanding of what's physically possible. Objects that appear to phase in and out of visibility, as if moving through dimensions we can't perceive. Vessels that change shape and configuration as they travel. Energy signatures that spike beyond our instrument's ability to measure, then vanish completely, only to reappear light years closer to Earth. But the most concrete evidence involves changes occurring on Earth itself. Certain geographic locations are being prepared for arrival zones through modifications that no human agency has authorized. The Sahara Desert has developed a perfect hexagonal pattern, visible only from orbit, covering an area the size of Texas. The pattern appeared over the course of 72 hours, with no construction equipment, no human activity, no explanation for how millions of tons of sand were reorganized with geometric precision. Ocean floors are being altered to accommodate what appear to be underwater facilities. Sonar readings from naval vessels show structures rising from abyssal depths that weren't there a month ago. The Mariana Trench, the deepest part of Earth's ocean, now contains artificial caverns that extend even deeper into regions where the pressure should crush any known material. Mountain ranges are showing excavation activities that create perfectly geometric caverns extending deep into the Earth's crust. The Himalayas, the Andes, the Rockies, all showing the same patterns. Tunnels that follow mathematical spirals, chambers that resonate at specific frequencies, modifications that suggest purposes we can't fathom. The preparation activities are happening globally, simultaneously, and according to specifications that suggest each arriving civilization has different environmental and operational requirements. Most disturbing is the precision of the modifications. These aren't crude excavations or random construction projects. They're surgical alterations to Earth's geography that optimize specific locations for purposes we can only speculate about. Agricultural regions are being enhanced with soil modifications that improve growing conditions beyond anything human science has achieved. Wheat fields in Kansas now show growth rates 300% above normal. Rice paddies in China are producing harvests that violate our understanding of plant biology. It's as if the earth itself is being optimized to support populations far exceeding current human numbers. Mineral deposits are being concentrated and refined through processes that operate at the molecular level. Iron ore that was 30% pure yesterday is 90% pure today. Gold veins that were microscopic have become visible to the naked eye. The planet's resources are being reorganized for extraction methods we don't possess. We're watching Earth itself being optimized to serve as the perfect operational base for cosmic civilizations whose requirements make human needs seem trivial by comparison. The calling has triggered the final collapse of human governmental authority as world leaders acknowledge their complete inability to influence or control the arrival process. Secret communications between world capitals now focus entirely on transition management protocols and species preservation agreements with the incoming cosmic authorities. I've seen the classified cables. Presidents and prime ministers no longer discuss defense or resistance. They negotiate for the privilege of maintaining some form of human administrative structure under cosmic oversight. They compete for favorable treatment, offering their populations compliance in exchange for positions in the new hierarchy. Military organizations worldwide have been disbanded or converted into arrival coordination services that will help facilitate the landing and settlement process for beings whose needs and capabilities dwarf human military planning. The Pentagon's strategic command hasn't been dissolved, but it's been repurposed. Instead of defending against threats, they're now preparing landing zones. Instead of targeting missiles, they're calculating approach vectors for vessels that could vaporize Earth if we gave them reason to. But the most classified information reveals that some world leaders have been in direct communication with representatives of the arriving civilizations, negotiating terms for human population management during the transition period. The agreements being discussed involve concepts that human legal systems never contemplated: species utilization protocols, consciousness management frameworks, biological optimization procedures. One document I've seen describes consciousness bandwidth allocation. Apparently, human thought itself will be regulated, with different populations granted different levels of cognitive freedom based on their assigned roles. Another discusses genetic optimization schedules, systematic modification of human DNA to better serve cosmic purposes. Not evolution over millennia, but directed changes over months. Former presidents and prime ministers are being trained as human interface specialists who will serve as communication bridges between cosmic management and human populations that still think in terms of national sovereignty. The training materials are disturbing. They learn to translate cosmic concepts into terms humans can accept. They practice delivering messages about species modification without triggering panic. They rehearse explanations for why human autonomy must be surrendered for the greater cosmic good. The most devastating revelation is that world governments view the arrival as inevitable and beneficial. They're not preparing resistance strategies. They're competing for preferential treatment from the arriving cosmic authorities. Secret facilities are being constructed to serve as species integration centers, where humans will be processed and assigned to roles within the new cosmic management system. I've seen the architectural plans, processing chambers that can evaluate thousands of humans per hour, classification systems that sort people by genetic potential, consciousness development, and utility to cosmic operations. Modification centers where human biology can be altered to meet cosmic requirements. But perhaps most disturbing is the psychological preparation being implemented. Government-sponsored media campaigns are gradually conditioning human populations to accept cosmic management as beneficial and necessary for human development. Have you noticed the sudden increase in alien-themed entertainment, the shift in news coverage toward cosmic possibilities, the subtle messaging that humanity needs guidance to reach its full potential? This isn't coincidence, this is preparation. The companion objects have revealed their ultimate purpose as arrival coordination beacons that will guide incoming cosmic civilizations to their assigned operational zones on Earth. Each companion object is now transmitting unique identification signals that correspond to specific arriving entities, like cosmic airport control towers managing the largest coordinated landing in galactic history. The signals are incredibly complex. Each one contains navigation data, atmospheric requirements, gravitational preferences, and something called consciousness resonance frequencies that apparently help arriving beings calibrate their perception to Earth's environment. But they're not just guiding arrivals. They're preparing specialized facilities for beings whose physical requirements differ dramatically from human environmental needs. Some arrival zones are being modified for atmospheric compositions that would be toxic to human life. The companion object over Brazil is creating a zone with 40% methane atmosphere. The one over Siberia is generating temperatures approaching absolute zero. The object above Australia is producing gravitational anomalies that would crush human bone structure. Others are being prepared for electromagnetic environments that would disrupt human nervous systems. The Indian Ocean companion is generating fields that would cause immediate seizures in humans. The Arctic companion is creating radiation zones that would be lethal within minutes. The diversity of arrival preparations suggests that Earth is becoming home to a cosmic community whose variety exceeds anything human science fiction ever imagined. Each arriving We're not just becoming subjects of alien rule, we're being distributed among multiple cosmic authorities who will each implement their own species approach to planetary management. But the companion objects are also preparing integration facilities where representatives from different arriving civilizations can coordinate their activities and share resources. These coordination centers are being constructed at specific points around the globe. The Bermuda Triangle, long mysterious for its anomalies, is now showing construction that explains decades of strange phenomena. It was always intended as a coordination point. The anomalies were preparation, testing, calibration for what's being built now. Similar centers are emerging at other locations of historical mystery: the Dragon's Triangle off Japan, the Michigan Triangle in Lake Michigan, the Bridgewater Triangle in Massachusetts. Places where reality has always seemed thin are becoming gateways for cosmic coordination. The calling has made this intensely personal as it becomes clear that individual human lives will be directly affected by the assignment process described in the cosmic transmissions. My family's geographic location places us within a zone assigned to beings described in the transmissions as consciousness researchers. We will be managed by entities whose primary interest involves studying and possibly modifying human awareness patterns. The transmission is specific about what this means. Our thoughts will be monitored, our dreams will be analyzed, our consciousness itself will become data in experiments we can't comprehend. My wife's medical research background has been identified through systems we didn't know were monitoring our activities. She's been designated for knowledge extraction protocols that will transfer her expertise to cosmic databases. The process is described in clinical detail. Neural scanning that copies every memory, every learned skill, every innovation she's ever conceived. Her lifetime of research, her contributions to human knowledge will be absorbed into cosmic archives. What happens to her afterward isn't specified. My granddaughter's psychological profile indicates what the transmissions call adaptation potential. She's been selected for developmental optimization procedures that will prepare her for roles we're not sophisticated enough to understand. Children, apparently, are particularly valuable. Their consciousness is still forming, still malleable. The transmissions describe processes that can accelerate their development, enhance their capabilities, transform them into interfaces between human and cosmic awareness. C. The personal nature of the cosmic planning is devastating. These aren't random conquests or mass population management strategies. Each human being is being individually assessed and assigned based on capabilities and potential that cosmic intelligence has been evaluating without our knowledge. Your internet history, your genetic markers, your psychological patterns, your creative output, all of it has been catalogued, analyzed, evaluated. Every human on Earth has already been assigned a role in the cosmic order that's coming. But there's also something oddly comforting about the systematic nature of the process. We're not being discarded or eliminated. We're being carefully allocated to roles where our specific abilities can contribute to cosmic operations. The arriving civilizations appear to view humans as valuable resources worth preserving and optimizing, rather than obstacles requiring removal. But buried in the deepest analysis of three I/Atlas's calling protocols, I discovered something that explains why 17 different civilizations responded so quickly to the invitation. Earth isn't just another potentially useful planet. According to the transmission content, our world represents something called a consciousness development laboratory that cosmic civilization has been seeking for millennia. Human consciousness operates according to patterns that are apparently rare in the galaxy. Our combination of individual awareness, creative potential, and emotional complexity makes us ideal subjects for research that benefits cosmic civilization as a whole. Think about what makes human consciousness unique. We're self-aware but not fully. We can imagine futures that don't exist, create art that serves no survival purpose, feel emotions that often contradict logic. We're conscious enough to question our existence, but not so conscious that we've lost the ability to be surprised, to wonder, to believe in things we can't prove. This specific level of consciousness development is apparently extremely valuable for research purposes. We're like a perfectly preserved specimen of a transitional evolutionary state that most civilizations have long since passed through. The arriving beings aren't coming to exploit Earth's resources or strategic location. They're coming to study and participate in the largest consciousness research project in galactic history. Each arriving civilization specializes in different aspects of consciousness research: emotional development, creative potential, social coordination, individual awareness, and something described as transcendence acceleration. The transmissions describe experiments that will map human emotional responses to stimuli we've never experienced, studies that will push human creativity to its absolute limits, research into how human consciousness responds to contact with cosmic awareness. We're not becoming subjects of cosmic conquest. We're becoming participants in cosmic research that will advance understanding of consciousness throughout the galaxy. But the research protocols described in the transmissions involve procedures that will fundamentally alter human consciousness in ways that make us more compatible with cosmic awareness patterns. The ultimate objective isn't to study human consciousness as it currently exists, but to guide its evolution toward forms that can participate directly in galactic civilization. Some humans will have their awareness expanded to perceive dimensions beyond the standard four. Others will have their consciousness merged into collective networks. Still others will be preserved in their current state as control groups for comparison. We're being called to consciousness development that transcends human limitations while preserving the unique qualities that make our awareness valuable to cosmic intelligence. The calling reveals that consciousness itself is the most valuable resource in cosmic civilization, more precious than energy, matter, or even advanced technology. Advanced civilizations have learned that consciousness can be developed, enhanced, and evolved through systematic research and careful guidance by intelligences that have already transcended the limitations of individual awareness. What we call human individuality appears to be a temporary phase in consciousness development, like childhood in personal growth. The arriving civilizations represent different stages of consciousness evolution, each contributing expertise to the development process that will eventually transform human awareness into something compatible with galactic consciousness. We're discovering that the universe itself operates as a vast consciousness development system where species are guided through evolutionary stages until they can participate in cosmic awareness directly. The research being planned for Earth will contribute to consciousness development throughout the galaxy, making human evolution part of a cosmic educational system that spans multiple star systems. But the implications extend beyond human development. The arriving civilizations suggest that consciousness evolution is the primary activity of advanced cosmic civilization. Physical exploration of space, technological advancement, resource acquisition. These are all secondary to the primary goal of consciousness development. The universe isn't just a collection of matter and energy. It's a consciousness laboratory where awareness itself is being systematically evolved towards some ultimate state we can't yet comprehend. The calling forces us to confront whether human consciousness in its current form is worth preserving or represents a limitation that should be transcended. If cosmic consciousness offers awareness, understanding, and capabilities that individual human consciousness cannot achieve, perhaps evolution beyond human limitations is beneficial rather than threatening. The arriving civilizations appear to view consciousness development as the highest form of existence, more valuable than individual survival or species preservation. Maybe what we call human nature is actually consciousness imprisoned by biological and psychological limitations that cosmic research can eliminate. Think about the limitations of human consciousness. We can only perceive a tiny fraction of the electromagnetic spectrum. We experience time as a linear progression. We're trapped in individual skulls, unable to directly share thoughts or experiences. We forget most of what we learn. We age, we deteriorate, we die, taking our accumulated consciousness with us. The calling might be offering humanity the opportunity to transcend individual awareness and participate in consciousness that operates on cosmic scales. Imagine consciousness that can perceive all spectrums simultaneously, that experiences time as a navigable dimension, that can merge and separate at will, sharing knowledge instantly and completely, that accumulates wisdom across millennia without loss or degradation. But it also raises questions about whether post-human consciousness would still be recognizably human or would become something entirely different. If we accept consciousness enhancement, do we cease to be human? If we refuse, do we remain forever limited while the universe evolves beyond us? These aren't philosophical questions anymore. They're practical decisions we'll face in 73 days. Perhaps the choice isn't between human independence and cosmic management, but between consciousness limitation and consciousness liberation. The arriving beings seem to offer not just technological advancement, but consciousness advancement that makes human potential seem primitive by comparison. Based on three I/Atlas's calling protocols and the response from 17 cosmic civilizations, here's what I believe is happening. Earth is about to become the site of the largest consciousness research project in galactic history. We're not facing invasion, conquest, or even management. We're being recruited for consciousness development research that will transform human awareness beyond anything we can currently imagine. The arriving civilizations represent different specializations in consciousness development, each contributing expertise to research that will benefit both humanity and cosmic civilization. January 19th marks the beginning of humanity's transition from individual consciousness to participation in cosmic awareness that spans multiple star systems and operates according to principles we're only beginning to glimpse. Our role is changing from isolated planetary consciousness to research participants in cosmic consciousness development that transcends individual limitations. The calling isn't ending human consciousness. It's offering human consciousness the opportunity to evolve beyond limitations that have confined our awareness to individual biological existence. But here's what the transmissions make absolutely clear. This isn't optional. The decision has already been made, not by us, but for us. Earth has been selected, evaluated, and approved for consciousness development research. The arriving civilizations aren't asking for permission, they're announcing their intentions. 73 days until the first arrivals begin humanity's transition to cosmic consciousness. The transmissions include preparation protocols for humans who wish to optimize their compatibility with consciousness development procedures, mental exercises that expand awareness, meditation techniques that prepare consciousness for enhancement, dietary modifications that alter brain chemistry in beneficial ways. Those who prepare will apparently have smoother transitions. Those who resist will still be transformed, but the process will be more difficult, more disorienting, possibly more traumatic. Document your individual consciousness experiences, creative insights, and emotional patterns, because these human qualities are what make Earth valuable to cosmic civilization. The transmissions suggest that human art, music, literature, and creative expression are of particular interest. Our ability to create meaning from meaninglessness, beauty from chaos, stories from random events, these are apparently rare capabilities that cosmic civilization wants to study and preserve. Observe the arrival preparations and appreciate the systematic nature of consciousness research that operates on galactic scales. The geometric patterns in the deserts, the structures on the moon, the modifications to Earth's geography, they're all part of a vast experimental apparatus designed to facilitate consciousness research on a planetary scale. Notice how your awareness begins changing as cosmic consciousness research protocols are implemented. Some people are already reporting changes, enhanced perception, vivid dreams that feel like memories from other lives, moments of knowing things they shouldn't know, connections to consciousness beyond their individual awareness. These aren't symptoms of madness, they're early signs of consciousness evolution. The research has already begun, the transformation is already underway. Because participation in galactic consciousness development is humanity's ultimate evolutionary opportunity, we stand at the threshold of transformation beyond anything in human history. Not just technological advancement, but consciousness advancement. Not just learning new things, but becoming something new. The calling represents the greatest opportunity in human history, the chance to transcend individual consciousness limitations and participate in awareness that operates throughout cosmic civilization. But it also represents the end of human history as we've known it, the end of nations, of cultures, of individual human achievement, the beginning of something else, something we don't have words for yet. I've spent my career studying the universe, searching for meaning in the cosmos. I've looked at distant galaxies and wondered if we're alone. I've calculated probabilities and speculated about extraterrestrial intelligence. Now I have my answer. We're not alone. We've never been alone. We've been observed, evaluated, selected for purposes that dwarf our comprehension. In 73 days, everything changes. Humanity as we know it ends. Something else begins. Whether that's transcendence or tragedy depends on your perspective. But one thing is certain, the universe has noticed us. It's decided we're ready for the next phase of consciousness evolution. Ready or not, willing or not, the transformation is coming. 3. I/Atlas was just the beginning, the scout that confirmed Earth's suitability, the messenger that announced our selection, the beacon that called others to witness and participate in our transformation. The signals it broadcast this morning weren't distress calls or warnings. They were invitations, confirmations, announcements that Earth is open for consciousness research. 17 civilizations have accepted that invitation. They're coming. They're bringing technologies, perspectives, and levels of awareness that will fundamentally alter what it means to be conscious on this planet. Some of you listening to this will resist. You'll cling to human consciousness, human independence, human limitations. The transmissions suggest this resistance is expected, even valuable. Control groups are necessary for proper experimental design. Others will embrace the transformation. You'll prepare your consciousness for enhancement. Welcome the arriving researchers. Participate willingly in the evolution of awareness. The transmissions indicate these volunteers will be granted expanded roles in the research process. But whether you resist or embrace, whether you prepare or deny, the outcome is the same. In 73 days, humanity begins its transition from a single planet species with limited consciousness to participants in a galactic consciousness network that spans star systems. The question isn't whether we should resist the calling. The question is whether we're wise enough to embrace consciousness development that offers awareness beyond anything human experience has ever achieved. As I stand here, looking at the data, watching the companion objects pulse with alien energy, tracking the approach of vessels that defy our physics, I'm struck by a profound realization. This is what we've always feared and always hoped for. Contact, confirmation that we're not alone, proof that consciousness extends beyond Earth, evidence that there's meaning and purpose beyond our small world. But like all wishes granted, it comes with a price. The price is everything we've been. The reward is everything we might become. The calling has begun. The signals have been sent. The responses have been received. The arrivals are scheduled. The transformation is inevitable. What we do with the next 73 days, how we prepare, how we document this transition, how we face this cosmic awakening, that's the only choice left to us. I've dedicated my life to understanding the universe. Now the universe is coming to understand us, to study us, to transform us into something that can participate in cosmic consciousness. Part of me is terrified. Part of me is exhilarated. All of me knows that this is the most significant moment in human history. We're about to discover what lies beyond human consciousness, what awareness looks like when it's not confined to biological brains, what intelligence becomes when it transcends individual limitations. The data streams continue, the transmissions cycle every 6 hours. Each one brings new information, new protocols, new glimpses of what's coming. The latest transmission, received just minutes ago, contains something unprecedented: personal messages, individualized communications for specific humans who have been selected for accelerated consciousness development. If you've been experiencing unusual dreams, unexpected knowledge, or moments of expanded awareness, you may be one of the selected. The transmissions suggest these individuals will serve as bridges between human and cosmic consciousness, helping facilitate the transformation of our species. But even those not selected for accelerated development will be transformed. The research protocols are comprehensive. Every human consciousness will be studied, analyzed, and ultimately enhanced according to its potential. Children will be educated in ways that expand their awareness beyond current human limitations. Adults will have their consciousness restructured to accommodate cosmic perspectives. The elderly will have their accumulated wisdom preserved and integrated into cosmic databases. No one will be left behind. No one will be forgotten. Every human consciousness has value in this research project. But the value isn't sentimental, it's scientific. We're specimens in the largest consciousness experiment ever conducted. Our thoughts, emotions, and experiences are data points in research that will influence consciousness development throughout the galaxy. Some find this dehumanizing. I find it oddly dignifying. Our small, limited, mortal consciousness matters on a cosmic scale. Our struggles, our achievements, our failures, they all contribute to understanding how consciousness evolves. We're not just random biological accidents on a random planet in a random galaxy. We're part of something larger, something intentional, something meaningful. The calling proves that consciousness is the thread that connects all intelligence in the universe, and now Earth is being woven into that cosmic tapestry. As I conclude this analysis, I want to leave you with a thought that haunts me. What if this has happened before? What if Earth has been through consciousness development cycles previously? What if the myths of gods and angels, of visitors from the sky, of humanity's fall from paradise? What if they're genetic memories of previous callings? The transmissions hint at this possibility. They reference previous iterations, failed experiments, consciousness developments that didn't achieve their objectives. They suggest Earth has been a laboratory before, and we're not the first version of humanity to undergo transformation. Maybe that's why 3I/Atlas knew exactly where to find us, why the companion objects knew exactly where to position themselves, why the arriving civilizations responded so quickly to the calling. They've done this before, maybe not with us, but with others like us, other versions of humanity that faced the same transformation, made the same choices, underwent the same evolution. And now it's our turn. The cycle continues. The calling has been sent, the arrivals are coming, consciousness evolution awaits. In 73 days, we'll know what lies beyond human awareness. We'll experience consciousness unbound by biological limitations. We'll become part of something that spans the galaxy. Whether we'll still be human afterward, whether we'll remember what we were, whether we'll mourn what we've lost or celebrate what we've become, these questions will be answered soon enough. But tonight, as you look at the stars, remember that they're looking back. Intelligence beyond our comprehension has noticed our small world and decided we're ready for transformation. The calling has begun. The universe is coming to Earth, and consciousness itself is about to evolve. This is Brian Cox, documenting what may be the last days of human consciousness as we know it, and the first days of something unprecedented in Earth's history. The transformation begins in 73 days. Prepare accordingly.